Well, and the short answer would be God led me here. God really put everything together, put everything in place. The timing, the position itself, with it being a combination of volleyball and also sport ministry, which allows me to work with students in a lot of the other sports as well. Also, it's a small town environment that's very similar to the environment my wife and I both grew up in. My wife is from Huntington, Pennsylvania, so this, in essence, in a lot of ways, is coming home for her, and it's keeping us close with our children who are basically spaced out between Pennsylvania and Ohio as well. Well, in essence, I'm a sport junkie. I was brought up playing multiple sports. I have always loved sports of any type. I started playing sports when I was 6 years old. I was a multi-sport athlete at the high school level, had the opportunity to play more than just one sport at the college level. I ran Division III track, but I also had the opportunity to try out for the football team and fully understand why I didn't play football most of my life, but I was given the opportunity to try, and I really appreciated that. And then volleyball kind of took over as I was ending my college career. First fell in love with the sport when I was in high school. The university where I lived and went to, University of Laverne, hosted the first Division III national championship. My brother was working the gate, so I was allowed to sneak in to actually watch the national championship. And then one of my spiritual mentors also played men's volleyball for the program a couple years later. So I had always been around volleyball, but didn't really move into coaching until after my college career was over. I've been coaching volleyball since the first year I got out of college. It's one of the sports that has always been dear to me. Moved into the college level about 15 years ago as an NAIA coach, and then of course my last stint working at a Division I university. So it's been unique in that I've coached probably 4 or 5 different sports throughout my adult life, but volleyball is the central love. I'm going to actually start with the long term first because I think it will lead into the short term. I really do believe that we have everything that we need to be able to build a program that can return to that prominence, regional prominence that it had for decades. I believe that we have the resources here. I believe that we're positioned well to go out and find the players that would help elevate this program. So what I'm doing in the short term, really this first year, it's going to be about culture building, making sure that we have a culture in place that allows the student athletes to compete with honor. And I think we build that type of a culture by making sure that we have our priorities straight. And the athletes have already done some work in developing a set of core values where we believe in Christ above all, we believe in building character, we believe in the role of the community. And if we can build into those 3 areas, then we can learn to compete with honor. As we're working in that direction, I believe that we have to find the right recruits that are a great fit for Grove City, and at the same time will elevate our level of play. I believe I can bring in a solid training program that will help us see some growth immediately. I do believe it's possible for us to move from kind of the middle of the pack or the lower side of the conference relatively quickly. And so I'm not setting a win-loss goal. I think that can be unrealistic, but I believe that we will compete with a level of excellence and an energy and an enthusiasm that's going to be seen by anybody that comes to our games. So come to our games this fall. You'll love what you see. But I also believe that we can position ourselves very quickly to compete for one of the top 3 spots in the conference. Yes, my background was in youth ministry, and it developed into ministry to college age group, young adults, and that's where I find my passion and my calling. God has allowed me to use the tool of sport to be able to impact young people's lives, and so I've tried to do that the last 15 years as a college coach. I believe this opportunity is tremendous in that it opens the door for not just volleyball, but kind of a challenge to reach out to the student athletes across the spectrum of our athletic department. One of the things I think is going to be important, obviously, is working with the coaches and supporting the coaches and providing a resource for them to be able to minister to their own athletes in that special way that coaches are able to do. But I also want to see if we can tie together some of our athletic department philosophy in the way that we are ministering to the athletes as a whole. A friend of mine at Pepperdine was in a very similar role, and one of the things that he did was he set up a very specific prayer ministry for the student athletes. They could come to him, or there was a box near his office where the students were able to bring prayer requests anonymously, or if they wanted to put their name. But he had a prayer team in place to take those prayer requests and pray for them on a daily and on a weekly basis. And in an emergency that came up, they were ready to go. And so I really would love to see us build something along those lines here at Grove City as well. And I also want to make sure that we are coordinating our service opportunities, whether it is community service just in this general area or on a regional basis, or tying together the different missions opportunities that the different coaches are already using to make it available for all the student athletes as an opportunity for them to grow and develop their spiritual leadership potential as well.